The following podcast is sponsored by Luminary Leaders, Sadat and Associates, and Connected Women of Influence. Enjoy the episode.
Welcome to the Speaker Central podcast show. I'm your host, Shelly Harrison. On this episode, we talk about turning incarceration into motivation and love with my special guest, Rocky Singh Kandola. Welcome back for this new episode of Speaker Central, powered by Luminary Leaders. I'm your host, Shelly Harrison. So without further ado, let me go ahead and just kind of share with you our Speaker Central podcast show is for CEOs, executives, speakers that are doing wonderful things around the world. In addition to that, myself, I am the owner and CEO of Luminary Leaders. We're a speaker management and consulting company, and we represent visionaries across the country, including our military. And we're very proud to be working with our veterans. Our firm also, we just started doing a program that we have been working with where we work with small businesses and CEOs of companies to help elevate their speaking in terms of speaking to market their company. And that's something that, we build a strategy around that and we're working through usually about a 90-day program. So wanted to kind of make sure that everybody knows that we're working on that too. Each episode that we have with Speaker Central, we bring on thought leaders, experts, and collaborative partners. And today, my guest is Rocky Singh Kandola. And Rocky, I want to welcome you to Speaker Central.
Les, thank you so much for having me, Shelly.
Oh, thank you for being here, because when you first had reached out to me, we connected on LinkedIn, and I could not believe the story behind, behind the profile. Honestly, when I looked at the pictures, I looked at your, different things that you had posted as far as your, I think it was articles is what first captured my attention, and some of the things that you've been through. And what I would love to do, Rocky, is have you start by sharing a little bit about yourself with our audience.
Definitely. My name, as you said, is Rocky Singh Kandola. I'm 35 years old, currently living in Los Angeles. I was born in New York, as you kind of touched on it a bit as well. My childhood and my life up until, the last couple of years has been, quite chaotic, a lot of trauma, a lot of, everything from being kidnapped and sent away to school in Mexico to later on getting involved in drugs and violence and women and ending up in prison to finally, it's been a journey through that, to finally kind of making it beyond all that, shifting my identity, shifting my mindset, the way I think to where I am now. And, it's a healing process, a journey. I'm by no means anywhere near perfect or healed or better. I'm constantly, going through things and fighting battles and fighting internal battles every day. But the most important thing is I'm conscious of that. I've learned so much. And I've changed so much and shifted so much that now it's almost magical. It's fun to wake up every morning knowing that life will be problems and I'll be able to deal with them. So.
Wow. And, I do want our audience to know that you're the president and founder of Hair Maiden India, a world-leading company in high-quality hair and dedicated customer service within the wild and crazy human hair industry. So, again, the story that you have, can we back up a little bit, and not that I want to focus so much on that because I'm sure you want to get past it. When you mentioned prison, how did that happen? I mean, what is that story about, Rocky?
Yeah. So, in order to have to kind of back up all the way, starting at 11 and 12, I started getting sent to boot camps and military schools and state schools all across the country, as well as in Mexico, the border of Canada and India as well. My parents are very, kind of traditional Indian, a little bit strict, and they wanted us to stay at home and study and things. And I've always been outspoken, extrovert. I love meeting people and seeing people. So out of the house. And I used to start sneaking my father's car out at 11 years old. So eventually.
11, wow, that's young. Yeah. To be driving.
Exactly. I was a big 11-year-old. He used to teach me back then, but then he didn't take it alone, obviously.
Yeah.
But eventually I got caught and I started my first boot camp, which was a part of the Worldwide Association of Specialty Programs. Paris Hilton actually recently did a documentary that's on YouTube outlining some of these schools. So to get
we'll have to include that in our show notes.
Definitely. And what's the wild part to me is that there's a lot of them are still in operation today. And these schools, like myself personally, I can speak for, I faced these schools at 11 or 12 and then 17 again. Everything from physical abuse to sexual abuse
Oh my
to
goodness.
ridiculously brainwashing, mental trauma and games. That
Yeah.
carried on to my adult life. And recently I've had to kind of go back and kind of face those things and talk about it. But to answer your question, that lifestyle of, being thrown around from school to school and prison or jail to boot camp to state school to military school, eventually when I got out finally at 17, when I graduated from high school and started college, I was hard headed and didn't care about anything or anyone and had no
Mm.
respect for authority at all. And I dove headfirst into, partying, drugs, selling drugs, doing drugs,
Oh, wow.
violence. And yeah, it was a short run actually, but 18 to about 21. By 21, 22, I had caught a distribution of narcotics felony
Mm.
where the state
Gosh.
local police, had an undercover sting operation and came and
Wow.
took me away. And I ended up serving roughly 2.5 years in prison, plus jail time, plus rehab time, plus probation, plus house arrest and all kind of things. Uh,
Yeah.
the light side of that story, actually, the business that you're speaking of, Hair Made in India, I made the one-page business plan, and the idea and the soul behind it started laying underneath the bunk bed with bugs crawling next to me, having people watch out for police on a stolen cell phone, calling people to find
Mm.
out how the hair market works. So instead of like being in prison and smoking and doing drugs and getting into all that in there, me and a couple of my bunkmates, we actually would sit there and write business plans down.
My God,
And
literally in prison.
prison,
Yeah.
literally,
Oh my gosh.
India was one of them. So
Yeah, yeah. And, let's back up a little bit because, right now, I mean, you have an amazing business, and we're going to talk a little bit about that in just a couple of minutes. When I look back and I think, gosh, as an 11-year-old through 17, what kind of mindset did you have at that time? Just going in and out of those schools and, just not really, embracing life other than, you were kind of just shifted. What was that like for you?
yeah, I realize now looking back that I operate out of a lot of fear, and I still carry that,
Yeah.
these days. Back then, however, it was survival. I learned to manipulate. I learned to play the system and to do what I needed to do to get out of these places. So I was in,
Yeah.
anytime I would be allowed to come home for some time, it was the mode of, tomorrow might not come. Tomorrow I might be sent away again. So today I'm doing everything I want to do. So I
Yeah.
kind of had that really back and forth of like, go crazy, have fun, do whatever you can do, and then it's going to be taken away. Survival mode, figure out how to make it again. And I spent
Yeah.
my teen years in that kind of almost like a fight or flight, half and half, like
Fight or
surviving.
flight. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Wow. Well, I mean, just where you are today that just intrigues me. And I'd love to have you share with our audience what your life looks like today. You had all of these things happen. And I also want to talk about, because I know that you had many, many surgeries, and maybe we could talk about that first and then get into how it came about with your business and being in this hair business, the human hair business.
yeah, definitely. So the surgeries and stuff you're referring to, I mean, like I said, I kind of got in that lifestyle of violence and drugs and it's just craziness and even the parties. So I have 15 or 20 scars on me. Like, I have stab wounds, I have broken arms,
My
a full arm,
goodness.
got like cut off all the way around.
Oh
This
my gosh.
right, and then right here is the only place you can see now. But my most major injury was I was picked up, I was assaulted, and thrown into a concrete sidewalk, and my face just hit the sidewalk and skid. So from here to here is wires and
Oh
plates.
gosh.
This entire side is fake. They took a piece of bone out of my head and put it here in order to give
Oh
my.
my gosh.
So when I went to
Wow.
prison, I actually had no teeth on this side and metal just sticking out of my mouth, and it would just bleed constantly all day long.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
yeah, so the
That,
physical.
and looking at you today, you would never even think that, or someone just meeting you for the first time.
Modern medicine, those doctors,
Yeah.
they're amazing. They did such a good job and took care of me so well. So
Yeah. Well, they did. I mean, you've got that movie star look.
thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So after the surgeries and, fast forward, you were doing this business plan, in prison and some other places. I'm sure you were writing down on napkins or whatnot. How did this hair business come up in
Yes.
terms of starting as a business?
Yeah, so like I said, I made the business plan in prison. When I got out, I got back in the same lifestyle really fast. I was around the same people, And, I was going down a road where if I kept staying on that, that was going to be my life. I was going to end up either dead in prison and some kind of, facility.
Yeah.
Until one day, November 4th, 2013, I believe, a higher power, a spirit, God, many names for what this was, came into me in the form of my father asking me a very simple, humble question like, hey, Rocky, do you want to leave? Your probation is done. You have your teeth back. Do you want to leave the country? Do you want to get away for a while? And I made the decision. I don't know. Like I said, it must be a higher power because I don't remember consciously thinking about it and making it. It just kind of came into me. And I said yes. And I left behind, all the people I was selling with. I left behind all the things I had, my cars, my homes, any bit of money I had, and my girlfriends, everything I had at the time. I just kind of said bye. And I don't know what I'm going to do. I have no idea what this is going to look like. But I had a feeling and a spark inside of me that said, Rocky, there's something else out there for you. You have to keep in mind at this point in time, I was attached to the identity of, dope boy, party animal.
Right. You had that lifestyle, and that was, you reversed that pattern though. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, big time.
That's the first step.
Do you think that your dad, do you think that he had a lot of influence on, just shifting your mindset and kind of the direction or trajectory of where you're going?
So I give my dad a lot of credit for the man he is and what he's taught me and the tough love he's given me. But this actually came from like a spirit, like I said, within me. He was the catalyst that asked the question, so I love him for that and love him for so many other things. But this decision, it wasn't pressured or pushed or forced. And that most of my life he had pressured and pushed and forced me for everything. And the way he asked me this question that time, it just clicked. And like I said, he was the catalyst. He was like almost like the angel that had like the words to speak that you can put in like a human form and human language. From there, it was just, my spirit. And I said, I'm going to try this. And it was tough 7 years ago. And like, still I had a lot of ups and downs in that 7 years. But to get back to your question, when I got to India after about a month or so is when I started thinking like, okay, I'm clean. I'm off drugs. I'm not drinking. My mind feels better. I've been living on a farm for a month. What do you want to do, Rocky? Like, we need to do some kind of work or something. And I was like, no, I don't really want to work. I've been kind of like a entrepreneur / hustler my whole life. I was the kid that sold lemonade and baseball cards and cut grass, in the beginning. So I wanted to do some kind of business. And while I was there, I was looking at different things and I had a thought, oh my gosh, I made a business plan in prison with hair and I'm in India. Let me do some research. So I started researching all around India, like checking out manufacturers, factories, and temples. And I made one Facebook post. And all my homegirls from high school went crazy. Like, oh my gosh, Rocky, you got hair. Like, bring it to us, bring it to us. And I was like, you know what?
There's a market. There's a market for hair.
I'm going to do this. And I actually started with two companies that I started a fabric thing also. The fabric thing, I would have been like a salesman for another company. And I tried to do the same time and the hair. So I brought all that back to America and the hair just took off so fast and people were so responsive to me understanding the market already. And then to having so much knowledge from India being brought into the market, that the fabric kind of just went to the side and I just went full force into the hair.
Gosh. Yeah. And I saw some of the pictures. In fact, I watched the video on your website and it was fascinating to see how they prepare the hair. And it is long. I mean, manes of hair. I was so shocked, that, and I would imagine that there are a lot of women that purposely grow their hair that long, right? And then they want to donate or is that how it works with your company? Or I know you have to purchase the hair, but how does that process work?
Kind of. So in India is the only religion in the world that actually practices hair tonsuring. It's an ancient practice where people make a pilgrimage to their temples. They go there, they walk for days, they walk up the hill barefoot. They get there, and then part of the end of the pilgrimage is they cut their hair and offer their hair as a sacrificial donation to their respective gods. These temples have now made like large auction systems. Right. So we have to actually go into the auction and buy from the temples directly. But for me personally, I've been to all the temples. I have friends there now because I go every year, like twice a year. I go do I don't shave my head, but I cut like 3 different, pieces of my hair off and make a donation like that. And just a respectful thing. I'm more of a spiritual than any kind of one religious type of guy. I just, I believe that there's a lot of good to be said and had from every single religion that is out there in the world. And just like any book and any person, you can always find the good in it. So that's kind of the spiritual side of me. But it's a crazy business and how it works. But in the beginning, I was like, what? Is this real? Like, and then I learned it.
And you have a location in Los Angeles, right? Where you sell this hair. Is it a warehouse or retail?
It's a showroom for our business. clients to meet us. And, traditional businessmen always said, pick retail, pick wholesale. And I didn't want to do anything. I'm kind of hard headed still. So I was like, no, I'm going to do both of them. And it's actually worked out nicely. We've kind of put our place in a nice area in the market where we do a little bit of retail, mostly wholesale, however. And
Yeah.
now we're plans of branching off, with different distributors and partners I've met over the years and allowing them to solely retail the hair while we pull back and do all wholesale.
Yeah, and I noticed too that you have some celebrities that are utilizing your products. So I noticed some of the photos, and some of them I knew and others I didn't, but I thought that was pretty cool because you really captured, that influencer audience where that I'm sure that's contributing to, just the popularity of what you're doing.
Yeah, and it's so tough. I mean, influencer marketing, everyone knows is big and everyone has their own way to do it. And then people say this is the right way and the wrong way. For me, I've stuck
Mhm.
to my guns and I've said, I'm not working with a random influencer. I want to have, because Hair Man India is all about connections. From the
Yeah.
beginning, it's always been about community. I want the people that work with me and work for me. They know me very well. They have their own issues and problems, and we discuss each other's problems and issues. So it's a very nice, like meshed lifestyle like that, which once again, traditional businesses don't do. But I love it like that. So the influencers I work with, we meet directly. They know me,
Yeah.
they know the company, they understand the vibe, they understand what I've been through, and they align with that. And then, as they influence for the company, it's more organic, it's natural. It's not like just a
Yeah.
post of like a story and like we pay them money or something like that. So it works out
Yeah.
naturally. And it's taken a long time to build that. Until the last couple of years, I really didn't have any celebrities. But that's what they
Yeah.
say. Hard work definitely pays off. So
So it's
that's
a relationship. It's really a relationship because what you're doing is you're building trust with them. They vibe with with your product, and you can benefit from working with them. But in the same tune, you're friends probably with these people, and they'll do what they can to help support you, I'm sure.
exactly. And it's a
Yeah.
blessing in itself. I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah, no, well, and you have something to do with that too, because you've been, putting yourself out there, and I think, just having that, that humbleness that you carry, it's contagious because I think a lot of people, they're always, when people are opening up businesses and they're, doing the hard work, sometimes they don't even get noticed, and I think what you've done, you've created a wonderful, business, and, you have a lot of people that are around you that are very supportive. And a lot of times it's good to have that kind of support and know that people have your back, when it comes to business, and in a way that they're genuinely interested in helping you with your business.
Definitely. Once again, I'm
Yeah.
so grateful for that. That's what I wanted from the beginning is a community of like-minded
A
individuals.
community. Yeah.
That's what it is. I love that. So
Yeah, I can relate to that because I mean, there's a lot of things that I've done within my company, and I think community is so vital. When you think of your business, Rocky, and I want you to fill in the blank. I'm going to ask you a question, and I just want to have you tell me what's the first thing that comes to your mind as far as that, you can describe it. So I want you to answer the question. I'm blown away at how my company has fill in the blank.
I'm blown away at how my company has changed and transpired and grown from being just about selling a product to actually influencing, inspiring, and motivating people's lives within this industry and beyond this industry as well. That touches my
Yeah.
heart. Love that.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome. I love that. And being that you said it touches your heart, that's, that you can feel that. And I think you genuinely do care, and that's awesome that you're doing the work that you're doing and helping so many different people. As far as, as far as let me go back because I really want to focus on, just kind of where you're at today and fast forward into, let's say, 2022. What's next for you?
So, I mean, today my life is amazing. I can't, when I sit and think of like anything I would want or need, everything is at my fingertips. I can basically do as I please and as I want. I have an amazing team built, and we're all growing together as well. Every month on month, we're growing.
Yeah.
Spend a lot of time reading these days. I'm trying to write a book as well. A lot of time with close friends around here, and I love being by the water, by nature. I love traveling. And I'm able and blessed to be able to do that and also handle business while I'm doing it. And I've recently opened a couple of different companies. One of them is a vacation rental management company. So I'm
Oh,
buying vacation rental properties and renting them
wow.
out. And it's so fun because
Where at?
but
Where at?
they're in
Tell our
Florida.
audience. Where?
Right now, we're only in Florida, in Destin, Florida.
Florida.
Yep, so it's
Yeah.
just Rocky's Rentals, and I'm sure you'll put the links below from
Rocky's Rentals.
it's all on there too.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely. Especially people are wanting to, travel to Florida. Yeah.
Exactly. It's a nice resort, nice little area. And I love it because like hair was never like, I don't know, I'm not a fashion guy or a hair guy. I know how to run the logistics of the company and keep the quality high. But I
Yeah.
love travel and I love Destin, Florida. So my renters call me now and they're like, hey, what to do here? What can we do? I'm like, I got you covered. Just wait. I know the best restaurants. I know the best nightlife. I know the best museums. I know the best malls and everything. And those
Yeah.
conversations are so fun to have for me because it's so exciting. They're on vacation. They're taking a trip and I get to almost be there with them, like, and just tell them exactly what to do and kind of
Yeah.
imagine, like, enjoying themselves in my favorite restaurant or my favorite beachside or my favorite pool. So I just love doing it. Eventually I'll give it to a management company when I have a few more of them. But right now
Yeah.
I'm thoroughly enjoying doing it on my
You're
own.
doing it on your own. Yeah, and that would be fun. I mean, just to have, know that you have a destination for people, wherever they live. I mean, even if they live in Florida, I would imagine they want to get out of their house and, maybe take an opportunity to rent from you.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, Rocky, I know that you were a tennis player. And I don't know if you know this, but my husband has been an avid tennis player since he was a young boy. He's also a USTA tennis captain for the last 20 years. I'd love to hear how what's your game on tennis?
So tennis is my heart and soul as well. That's my one thing that I always go to that I love doing. My mom actually got me started with a plastic racket in Ocean Springs, Mississippi, when I was about 3 or 4 years.
Oh
Just
my
ran,
gosh.
and since then I've been on it. I've loved it. I played high school. I played a little bit of intramural college, and
Yeah.
I've been a coach since then as well. I
Oh,
actually just took a job behind my area here, part time. I don't have as much time anymore to actually teach, but I took a part time as a revolving kind of step in coach.
wow,
Right
that is
behind me.
cool.
I love it. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
already a people person, and then when you add, I know how to play very well. I've been to Nick Bollettieri's tennis camp, Harry Hopman's. I
Oh
was
yeah.
ranked top 10 in the USTA Southern section, top 400 in the ITF World Championships. All during my childhood. So I have a lot to
Yeah.
experience, a lot of knowledge about the sport that I love to share with people, and I love to play. So
Yeah, it's a great sport. I mean, my husband and I, he's been playing for so many years. I mean, we've gone to a lot of events at Indian Wells. We saw, I'm trying to remember, Andre Agassi and Pete Sampras when they play. Oh my gosh, that was such an amazing. That was back at, I think it was a Great Western Forum where they played it. But this is going back when they were playing. And we've seen some of the tennis pros, and it's exciting. It's a very exciting, the game. I think a lot of people that so into tennis, and they're into tennis.
yeah. I actually got to play next to Andre Agassi and Nick Bollettieri's tennis academy.
Really?
His court is court one. I was on court four, 3 courts down, like that. They kind of group it based on your skill level. I think I was 13 or 14, and it was so amazing just to be cuffed.
Oh my gosh.
And Pete Sampras as well. I went to Harry Hopman's tennis academy,
Oh.
and Pete Sampras like my idol, but like he was playing on a private court, so I kind of walked up over there, kind of sneaky, and I was like, hey, can I hit with you? And they're all like, no, you got to get away. But I don't care.
I know.
You're still my favorite. I don't care. Like,
I know. And when we were in Indian Wells, we actually were at, I can't remember what tournament it was. And Roger Federer was practicing, like 6 feet away from me. I was just mesmerized because he's one of my favorites. Yeah, he is. But he's so different in person, as far as compared to on TV. And I'm sure a lot of them are,
I bet so.
Yeah. Well, that's cool that you play tennis. It is a great sport. So Rocky, as far as, we're almost out of time, and I would really love for you to share with our audience, what nugget can you leave with our audience that is just so inspiring that you want to share this with the world?
So back when I told you I had the opportunity to leave and that higher power and spirit came and asked me, I didn't know this then, but now looking back consciously, I know it. And it sounds almost, some people don't want to hear it because it's so simple, and many truths of the world are so simple.
Yeah.
We have everything that we want and we need right here within us, right? Once
Yeah.
you rid your mind of distractions, take away, like for me, the drugs and the parties and the women, and then you take
Yeah.
that leap of faith, which for me was to take a chance and see what else is out there. And then you kind of like consistently work on that and know within you that it's possible and you can do it. The world literally opens up to you.
It really does. Yeah. No,
That's
that's cool. I really love that because the universe, I think a lot of people refer to as, the universe, and if you put it out there, but like you said, that pivotal moment that you had, that November 4th, where it will always be with you. And again, thank you so much for sharing on Speaker Central today. You really gave us so much. It's hard to talk about trauma and things that have happened from the past, and I'm sure it's hard for you to talk about sometimes, but I really appreciate you being transparent, Rocky, with us today. And I would love to stay in touch. And I think it's great that that you're doing the work that you're doing. We, again, for our audience, we're going to make sure that we put all of the links for Rocky, what he had mentioned. We'll make sure they're in the show notes. And we look forward to having everybody around the world download this episode. Please catch all of our episodes we're on all the podcast shows. This will also be on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. For now, though, I want to say thank you so much, Rocky, for joining me today. And to our audience, we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Hey there, did you enjoy the episode? If you did, subscribe to Speaker Central.